Perfect. So I can maybe try to reproduce.
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Yeah. I just want to say, because I don't know if I'll get this opportunity again, but Baron, you've been just a real inspiration the last 10 months. So definitely wanted to say that to you. Um, just, yeah, I mean, enough can't be said about what you're doing. And I don't know how much time you got, but some people might have some questions for you. I mean, I will say that uh and I didn't watch excuse me, I didn't watch your your entire show today, so don't fault me for that. But uh I think we've all figured out that it's kind of odd that the defense didn't talk about like causation or the fact that the firearm couldn't be linked to this I guess this wound or the the trauma that was done. No identification of the suspect, and association, meaning, well, obviously the meaning, what I mean by association with uh, tying uh, Tyler to that firearm, or tying him to the yeah, really just, I guess, the I would say that just the IDing him and the causation. So is that what you talked about on your stream today?
No. um, so there are a couple things. One is, and maybe I didn't articulate this well. I haven't really gotten any feedback from my show because I got off the show, ate dinner, and then had to take my kids to baseball practice. Um, the as a lawyer, you got to be a little careful with how you critique other lawyers and what they're doing. And I think the most I can say is that I probably would have done this a lot differently if I had been the one filing the brief. I probably would have tried the preliminary stage a lot differently if I was the one trying it. And I think a lot of other lawyers probably would agree with that assessment. That's not to say they're bad lawyers or they're on the wrong team or they're undermining anything. I mean, non-lawyers are free to speculate on those things. Lawyers have to be a little more cautious um, when they critique other lawyers in an active case. So that's all I can really say on that. I will say I was a little surprised that they didn't go a little harder on some of the issues. They seem to, again, I've not had a chance to look at any feedback um, from my show today, but I was a little I was a little taken back that they conceded quite every like they conceded as much as they did. And when I say concede, I don't mean they're admitting to the veracity of the claims. I'm not saying that they're saying Tyler Robinson was on campus because I don't think that's the point. But I think they could have been a little more clear in their articulation of the fact that they're assuming for the purposes of the standard that certain things happened. In other words, we have identification of Tyler Robinson on campus through Hull, through Lance Twiggs. It would have been nice to get a line from them, I think, or at least I would have if I was doing it. I think I would have been a little more strenuous in pointing out that, hey, wait a minute, I don't agree with that identification, but I understand the purpose of this hearing. The purpose of this motion is to view everything in the light most favorable to the state. So therefore, if they're going to say that that's an identification, here's why it's insufficient. And they really gave lip service to it only in two sentences that I could find, where they said, we don't think they met their burden on any claim on any element. Okay, well, that's not, I mean, they put it in there because they have to, but it wasn't real strong. And I understand their page limitations. They only had 35 pages to do all the magic they wanted to do. They felt like they needed to get a lot of language in there to preserve certain issues for appeal relative to aggravating factors and enhancements and things. And maybe they felt like they just didn't have room to discuss the rest of it. And a couple of sentences was sufficient for the purposes of the motion um, to say that they denied everything. But it was a little underwhelming from my perspective. But I think the purpose of my show today was to point out that the people on the other side who are using the articulation of the standard, viewing things in the light most favorable to the state, they're being dishonest. The lawyers are being dishonest if they say that Tyler is admitting he was on campus, or Tyler was admitting that Charlie died by a gunshot wound, or Tyler's admitting that he was in the stairwell, or that those were his text messages. Any lawyer reading that brief should know that those weren't admissions at all. Those aren't things. They're not. That's not going to make it in front of a jury. That's solely for the purpose of the court, and it's solely for, hey, we understand this is the standard that we have to argue because everything has to be interpreted in the light most favorable to the state. So just because Tyler Robinson's in a stairwell doesn't mean he was on the roof, or just because Tyler Robinson wrote these messages doesn't mean he was trying to do X, Y, or Z. The lawyers are lying.
Yeah,
The
but
feds.
Gary Melton wouldn't agree with you though, Baron.
Look, Gary Melton is a 5'4" moron. All right, I don't care what Gary Melton says. There's a reason Gary's failing at everything he does. Okay, there's a reason Gary's show has collapsed to like 2,000 viewers. It's not because he's excellent at what he does. It's not because he's compelling. He is just terrible at this game. And he doesn't understand what he's talking about, and he just calls names because he's not smart enough to articulate arguments. I don't care that Gary Melton disagrees with me. Gary Melton might. So I say the lawyers are lying. Gary's not a lawyer. He's not smart enough to be a lawyer. So Gary's not lying. Gary's wrong. He's just mistaken, or he is ignorant and sees. It's like a 5-year-old, right? They see a donut and all of a sudden they don't want to eat their hamburger. No, me want donut. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I mean, that's Gary. He sees language. He sees words on a piece of paper, and he goes into retard mode, and he can't think through why those words are there and what they might mean and what lawyers might be using those words to convey.
I love Baron on X Space.
I've got to be more careful on YouTube. The TOSs on YouTube are way more strict.
I think
Oh,
I
yeah,
found
of
a new
course, of
space
course.
for you. This is
For
great.
real. You fit in great here.
Yeah, Gary has resorted to, in order to get views. I think the most views he's got this week is because he has to resort to having me like in his space for that to have me and Blake. And it turned out not to work in his favor yesterday. I would be really happy if you got to listen to
Well,
a couple
Baron's
of
already
minutes of
told us
that,
not to
Baron.
go in those spaces, so don't tell him that we're doing it.
Yeah,
Well,
don't tell me Ashley's being bad going into these spaces.
I did it this week. I
Nah,
did it. I was
she's
like,
being
Baron
Well, I
told
mean,
good.
me not
it's
to.
just the
Hey,
fact that you can't argue with stupid. Like,
no, and
I
they
have
gang up
to.
on you. They do a gang mentality, and it's impossible to really land anything whenever Gary's got the host. But hey,
And
B, I wanted to ask you a question real quick. How does Candace go into this debate with Andrew when Andrew just throws the line, the 4 lines or 3 lines? We got Mr. Robinson walking up and down the stairs at UVU with a gait impaired by something long in his pant leg. I mean, I can just see this thing where Andrew regurgitates these lines that are taken out of context. And does Candace go in and lay out the actual document or the brief so it takes that off the table? Like, how? Because we're already at a disadvantage when all they have to do is talk about the indictment, and because it's the gospel. So this is even more of an advantage because I look at it as now they're using defense counsel's words against us. I mean, this is a nightmare for us going into a debate when it's being taken out of context. And I'm curious how you would strategize this if you're comfortable by opining.
MPBD being the mediator too.
so here's my thought on the debate. Candace is, I mean, even her enemies, Jeremy Boring and Ben Shapiro and all the people who hate her, they will all universally say she is one of the most impressive public speakers they've ever encountered. She's really bright. It's not an act for TV. I spend time with her. We talk. She is smart. She is sharp. Her mind holds a tremendous amount of information right at the front that she can access in a very quick capacity if she needs to. So I think you have to accept that Andrew probably has not done battle with someone on Candace's caliber very often. He has. He's debated some very sharp people. He doesn't just bait whores. I mean, he does some, but not always. You know, he's debated some really sharp people. I think Dave Smith is very sharp, and he's debated Dave Smith. So he's not green. He's very experienced, but he also doesn't often debate, particularly women who are as sharp as Candace is. And so just take that as sort of an overriding truth to everything I'm about to say. Andrew agreed to a two-part claim that he is going to defend. Part one, and I hope Patrick Bet David isn't a squirmy little snake like he acts all the time. I hope he's decent, at least on Friday for 4 hours. Andrew agreed to debate the claim first that the evidence against Tyler Robinson is overwhelming. That is a debate he cannot win. He can come to a draw perhaps and just say we agree to see it differently. He can try to raise the issues that the defense counsel talked about today. Candace should be able to deftly squat those aside and say, listen, what you're arguing is nonsensical because they're just articulating a standard. The standard is the evidence as viewed in light most favorable to the prosecution. They were just articulating that. So just don't it's squirmy and slimy and frankly wrong to use those words and act like they're admitting anything on behalf of Tyler. That's just not true. So that part should be out of the way. Then we go back to what's been presented as actual evidence. What have we seen as actual evidence? Well, we've got DNA on the gun. We got fingerprints on the gun. We got a screwdriver on the roof. We have a hole in Charlie Kirk's neck. We have a few lines from an autopsy report, and that's pretty much all they have to go on. And that's why I've really never wanted to debate anybody on this issue
Baron, you
because,
can't forget the 4K footage of him on the roof, though.
but we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it. We saw what Candace
because
released.
it
We
doesn't
saw,
exist.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, if he's going to be honest, he's going to say, I mean, what are you going to quote Benny likes Johnson and say that's my evidence? No, I mean that's nonsense. So on that claim, I think at the best he can hope for is a draw. On the other half of the claim that he's agreed is that it's more likely that Tyler Robinson did it than any of the other, I don't know, theories, conspiracy theories, claims, whatever Candace has made as to what might have potentially happened. Now, if he wants to bog her down on Egyptian jets and French Foreign Legion and all that, that's fine. If he's smart, he'll stay on the exploding microphone or something else. But I do think he's going to try to get into a third realm, and it'll be interesting to see how Candace handles it. And that is the Erica Kirk realm. Did Erica Kirk have knowledge?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think,
He's gonna try to make her look like defamatory almost.
well, and we'll see how she does. I mean, I have a lot of faith in her. I think she's very sharp. I think she knows her limits, and I think she will prepare accordingly. But I do think he'll try to get into that, but that's not one of the two claims that he has made or that he's agreed to debate. So it'll be interesting to me to see if Patrick Bet David is the slimy, squirmy snake everybody believes he is, or if he's actually a decent and honest person if he wants to be, because he's agreed to be a neutral moderator, and we'll see if he holds Andrew to that order. First, prove that the evidence against Tyler Robinson's overwhelming, then prove that it's more likely Tyler Robinson did it than any other theory. And, so I think that's how she approaches it. She approaches it ready to defend on those two fronts.
Do you
I think
go
Now,
it's
that
with?
going to
second debate claim
be
is really tricky because if the probability of each theory is 5%, but one of them is 6%, that doesn't mean that the one with 6% probability is any better than the others.
Yeah, but it's not about assessing. It's not about quantitatively assessing the likelihood of any particular theory. It's is is the likelihood of any one of those theories greater than the theory that Tyler Robinson did it alone?
I think that he's got the negative side of the argument, which puts him at an advantage because I think she has to try to affirm that Tyler's a patsy. So I think I
Not
if
not
I'm
not for the first claim. Not for the first
no
claim.
for the second, if I'm not
Sure.
mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
Black line, go ahead.
I just wanted to point out that everything that Barron had said that they were doing, like some of these guys, whether it be Benny Johnson, Brandon Tatum, Graham Allen, Andrew Golvet, Blake Neff, they are all out there now saying that the defense is pretty much admitting everything. That's exactly what they're doing from this defense response of the
That's
prosecution.
because they're retarded.
Yes.
They're retarded. That's
Yep.
not their fault. They aren't trained any better than that.
And I just want to point out that Uncle Tom is holding this space. He is taking accountability for shoving Andrew Wilson's face in our faces in every freaking space to the point that he manifested this debate with Candace that he does not deserve. And I'm quite frankly a little annoyed by it, Uncle Tom, I have to say.
So I don't know that Baron knows the backstory on that, but I've been following Andrew for years now, and he also, and I don't even know that you care to hear the story, but he's basically the Christ con, and he really was able to explain to me faith and religion in a way that I could understand. I think I would still claim I'm on record here saying net positive. I know not a lot of people aren't going to like that. I do think that he cares about the nuclear family and all that. But I had a real problem, as people know, when he started pushing the official narrative and talking about Candace. And now I think, and I would say this to him because I think that somebody shared a video, I can't remember who it was in here, of him saying early on that who's going to solve this is internet sleuths. So I don't know if you've seen that, Baron, or if anybody else has seen that, but it turns out he actually, I'm thinking he agreed with me the whole time. He knew logically that crowdsourced investigation was actually the best position, and so since then that's all changed, but
Yeah, apparently also he was a Freemason.
so I don't know about that. I saw that video too, but he's been on Rogan twice now, and the first
He's too
time,
stupid to be a Freemason.
I think the first time we went on Rogan was maybe February, March, and that's when, or maybe it was even earlier than that, and that's when he started laughing about Candace, and it was actually the first time I heard him kind of joke about her and disparage her, and that's when I got in his DMs and was like, what is this? Like, you want less information, not more information? What if it was your spouse? Wouldn't you want, like, I would want all kinds of tips, clues, leads, evidence. I would want all this, even if people were sending me tips that were just led down the wrong path and they were bad. I would still thank them. I'm like, hey, you tried. I appreciate it. Keep sending me info. I kind of like to get to the bottom of this. Yes, I realize that the police have they think they have their man, or they say they do, but a lot of people around the internet are saying it's suspicious, and I want to look into that. I mean, if my spouse was a political figure and could be had many different enemies from all over the world, I would absolutely take tips, even if they were, bad. I'd still want to go down that path. So I just felt like he was completely off on this, and so I've debated him on that.
I
He took the
if I
money.
well, if I can weigh in, I don't think Andrew has always been a bad guy or is always wrong. I'm not one of those people that, hey, if you challenge someone I like, then I hate you. I I think he's fallen into, whether it's for financial gain or otherwise. I don't know why these people are doing it, but he's fallen into this idea that Candace is somehow wrong, and therefore she's evil, and therefore she must be stopped at any and all costs, and therefore we must destroy everyone in any effort to get her. And it doesn't seem organic to me. I've never seen anything like this. The true crime has been a popular genre for the last 10, 12 years on podcasts, and the last probably 40 years in cable television and primetime news magazines and everything else. it's a fascinating look. How many TV shows do we have about crime? How many ripped from the headline Law and Orders were there? I mean, people like the mystique and the mystery and the aura and the craziness of how these criminal trials develop. Look what happened to O.J. Simpson. I mean, the world shut down to watch O.J. Simpson's verdict. I was in ninth grade. Or 10th grade. We stopped at lunch to watch O.J. Simpson's verdict. They turned it on in the lunchroom. I mean, it was crazy. This is Americana. This is what we do. We see a case, we get involved, we have theories, we discuss it at the water cooler. In the podcast era, we discuss it on podcasts. There's nothing unusual or strange about that. And the idea that all true crime is able to be discussed. I mean, even with Megyn Kelly, she made basically her whole brand that Brian Koberger case for a while. That everyone can discuss any true crime case they want until Erica Kirk demands you stop. And then all of a sudden you have to yield to her wishes. And if you don't stop, then you're torturing her. And according to Frank Turek, you deserve to be killed by a sword. I mean, it's just crazy. This is an absolute mad time we live in, that this is the approach everyone takes. And I don't know if it's going to be this standard going forward. Are we never going to be allowed to look into true crime again? I mean, Nancy Guthrie went missing and people did a lot of content on Nancy Guthrie, and there were people that were saying maybe her son-in-law did it, maybe Nancy Guthrie was involved, maybe her daughter-in-law did it. I don't recall anybody coming out saying that these people deserve to be killed with a sword. I mean, this is nuts. This is a one-time thing, and because of that, it makes me wonder, why is Gary making this his entire identity? Why is Lisa Knows Nothing making this her entire identity? Why are all these people deciding that this is them? They're like Britta. I'm gonna tweet about this 73 times a day for 11 straight months. It's unhinged, and it
because they're
cannot
doing the same
possibly
thing
be
that they're
organic.
accusing Candace of doing. They're chasing after the clout and the money from using Candace's name. But to them, they think
Wait,
Gaslighting.
she's
hold on,
doing it
Lene.
for
I
some
have my
reason.
hand up.
Sorry, go ahead, babe.
So Bear and I completely agree with you about, there's definitely some money being thrown around to get these people to do it. And for people like Gary Mountain to have people like his little minions like Lisa and Sean Campbell and all them doxing people is just absolutely and completely ridiculous. Um, Second of all, the first time I ever saw Andrew Wilson to even know who he was on one of Uncle Tom's Spaces where he came on, and you're right, he doesn't like to debate women. When I was on with him, we were debating, and his wife jumps in, starts attacking me. Then she ended up rage quitting and blocking me after I told her to go make him a sandwich, to get back in the kitchen and make him a sandwich. And then, of course, to calling me a whore and all the things. So
He
that's
did
my
on a
experience.
space, Leslie.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And then the last thing I want to know is, what are the chances of you coming out September 1st for the hearing?
Zero.
I figured.
Well, there's a deeper reason why. One, I don't want to do it, but two, I've got some things in the days leading up to that it would be selfish of me to do those things that I have to do in the days leading up to that, and then turn around and leave my family for several days and be gone after that to go to Utah. So it's 0% chance.
Sure. Family first, always.
Hey, Baron, just wanted to make the comment. Like, I totally agree with. I just caught the part of your show where you were talking, kind of addressing the verbiage being used in the brief, and just kind of be calm, babies, be calm. And that his defense team, they have a strategy, and they're there to work for Tyler. Okay. However, I do like the way that this has kind of left a lingering feeling, I guess, is that it sends a message to the defense team that we are paying attention to every effing word that is put out, that it deeply matters. Yes, I believe it could have been a little more pointed. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest I hope the biggest assassination of our lifetime. And that we're expecting like world class performance of a defense, and I hope that they see that.
I
Have
don't
they
think
ever
they.
reached out to you, Baron?
No, I honestly, and this isn't me knocking them by what I'm about to say. If there are other lawyers in here, understand I'm not violating 8.4. I don't think they care what we say. I don't think they listen to the podcasts. I don't think they read the social media posts. I don't think they're on X. I don't think they care. And part of the reason they may not care is the number of people who copy me on my email inbox on emails they're sending to them. I mean, they've got to think we're unhinged. Everybody, everybody's lumped into one large group. And however many people have reached out to these lawyers, they have to think we're just bananas over here. That's not to knock any one person, but if you get 5 emails, you might say, okay, well, there's a few strange people out there with some weird ideas. If you get 4,000 emails a month, which is probably what they were getting at one time, if I had to guess, um, they've got to just shut down. They have to, or they can't effectively do their jobs. I mean, you can't like I know how many emails I get, and we actually for a while had a full-time employee dedicated to just reading emails, and you still can't keep up. You still can't keep up. So we just had to say, all right, we'll sort of skim email subject lines and see if we find anything that looks okay. Um, it's from a legal perspective, Blake. As much as I wish that the lawyers would at least consider some of these things podcasters are saying, I just don't think they look at it. And that's maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
As much as I've learned about, and I hate to even say this, actually watching your show, I don't even like saying the word data center. Or using that phrase because it could be seem like you could come across as terroristic nowadays with that nonsense. But uh, you could use AI for the email stuff, and you being an attorney too, and the legalese, you could hard code a prompt that says, "Hey, just return the emails that." Have this type of phrasing or wording or this subject or whatever, and
Is this
maybe
Uncle
it
Tom's Consulting?
screams. Yeah, just helping him out because at one point Barron couldn't even start
I'm messing with
spaces.
you,
At
bro.
one point he was yelling at X saying that he can't start spaces on a
Oh
browser.
gosh, I melted down. That was bad.
You did melt down, bro. You definitely could start spaces on the computer, bro. It
Well,
definitely
you
works.
couldn't that night.
Tom, we get Baron
Well,
in here and we turn
that's
into a
what you
high IQ
call
outfit.
having a sorry, Wolf. That's what you call having a picnic, Baron, right? You've heard
Uh,
that.
I have not.
Person in chair, not in computer.
Oh well, maybe I'll have to have you help me get one set up because I wouldn't mind doing them. I listen to them all the time. I mean, I listen. I am lurking anonymously in X spaces.
You're listening to us, aren't you?
I listen a lot, Ashley. I know the voices. I don't even have to look down to see whose mic's lit up.
I hope you
Well,
listen to
hopefully you
me.
see my voice and are just smile when you see my face.
Well, who wouldn't,
He's
Leslie? Who
thinking about a
wouldn't?
sandwich, Leslie. He's thinking about a sandwich.
No, he's like, if I ever open a bar, Leslie's going to be a bouncer. I'm
For
hiring her
real.
to be lead security to toss anybody I want because she can literally kick some ass and take some names.
I will say about 2 weeks ago, I stopped listening nearly as often. So the last couple of weeks, I've not as much because they just get so everybody talks over each other, and I don't like it. Makes me nervous.
It depends. It depends what type of space, who's running it, and all that, and what you want to have happen or accomplish. But uh, yeah, it's not hard. You just click on more on your browser when you have X open. You just click the bottom where it says more, the three dots. It says more, and then you hit create space. Um, and I'm sure Daisy could help you with that, but it's not too hard. I would,
John can help him. John. Oh wait,
John.
where John's not gonna hear it right now.
John can help you.
One more thing, Baron.
Jared.
P.S. I love that your rap references, they make me laugh all the time. Because we're the same
what,
Baron,
age,
I
what?
have.
so
Sorry, I have a
Well,
quick question for someone.
go ahead.
Go. No, no, you go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you guys. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say when I met my wife, I was 18 years old. and I had a very diverse CD collection in my car, and it could be rap, it could be jam band music, it
Heck
could be
yeah.
classical music, it could be country music. And so she would get in the car and she would never know what to expect. And she was like, "You surprise me. Every time I get in the car, you surprise me."
That's the way
That's
it
so
should be
sweet.
though.
I have a question for you from someone in the audience. Her name is Quintessential. She said that she went to the Catholics for Catholics, and they had mentioned, or I think she had heard somewhere that you were supposed to be there, I think speaking, and so she was just wondering what had happened to that situation.
Yeah, so John Yep invited me. I never accepted, but I told him I would give it strong consideration, and I did. I don't know if they had some materials printed up before I gave him the final no, but about a week or so before, I don't know, it didn't feel right. Um, it just wasn't a good time for me. I've got 8 kids, man. I've got a lot going on in my house, and if I'm gone, then that's one less set of hands to hold kids or drive someone around. Like I'm sitting outside of baseball practice right now while my kids are in hitting practice. Um, I it's just hard when one of us is gone. My wife is a doula, and so like tonight she's on call because somebody's supposed to go into labor between tonight and Monday. It's like we're busy people, and it's hard for me to travel. And it just as the week got closer, it just didn't feel like it was a good time for me to go. So I let him know about a week ahead of time.
Hey,
So
Thank
just
you.
squeeze in for a second, ask Baron a quick question. That's all right.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just
Baron,
jump
look,
in. Jump in.
yeah, cheers, Tommy. Look, Baron, I'm just a humble little concreter down under. And from what I can see, there's so many holes in this case, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Everyone likes to get stuck in the weeds and get stuck into how he was killed and whatnot. I think totally disregard that. And on the surface level, I stated before in the space, there are so many holes that are so obvious with anyone with two bloody brain cells can tell what's going on. It's a lot of fighting business. And I was thinking for the debate, you want to cast doubt upon your opposition, which will be Andrew. And who he's defending is these state actors that are you shouldn't trust for, as far as you can throw a bar of soap, right? Because they are with, like I've said this before, they're already holding 3 million Epstein files illegally. And the guy in charge, the FBI agent that really took over initially, how is he to be trusted? He said there's no evidence of Epstein being a child trafficker. And like, I think in her initial statement, she should start with that and saying, do we really want to trust these people that are holding all these documents illegally? You can't trust a position like that, can you? And throughout the whole debate, everyone will be like, oh yeah, valid point. And anything that comes out of his mouth, you would just totally, question. So that's my thoughts.
I mean, I agree.
hey, Baron, do your kids and their friends do they know like their dad's kind of a big deal?
Their dad's not a big deal.
Like
Um,
does do you get approached at like baseball, t-ball games, like, or does people kind of do like kind of stay like don't ask you about it? Like, take us through just like a game or a trip to the supermarket. Like, do you get noticed?
yes, quite a
Do
bit.
you like that,
Uh,
or
uh,
is it kind of weird?
well, I'll say this. So where I was before, I was a fish in a pond, right? I was on a local radio show, but I did a weekend TV show for 3 years, and it was statewide stuff. It wasn't national stuff or anything bigger than that, but it was. So I've accustomed for years to being in a restaurant and someone coming up and saying hey, and everyone has always been polite. I've taken a lot of pictures with people the last year or so, um, but just people are mostly polite, and it's not a bother. The first time uh, Candace and I went out for coffee, I'd never been in public with her, and you talk about famous, like people know who she is. And I kind of classify people into, you're either niche famous or you're famous. I would say Ian Carroll is niche famous. If you follow podcasting, if you follow conspiracy podcasting or truther podcasting, you know who Ian Carroll is. And if you see him in public, he's a big SOB for one thing. He's like 6'8". You're going to recognize him. You're going to say, hey, you probably want to get a quick picture and then let him go on with his life. But there are probably a lot of targets all over America Ian could walk into and almost no one would recognize him. Candace does not have that luxury. Like if she walks into Target, half the people there are going to recognize her and know exactly who she is or more.
She's
You go,
international for sure.
yeah, you go into a coffee shop, every single person in there knows who she is. They're looking at the table the entire time you're in there. Um, it's a different thing, and I don't even know that I'm Ian Carroll niche recognizable, but I mean it happens. I don't want to say every time I go
Have you
out, but
had
it
somebody
happens
come
quite
up
a
and
bit.
talk theory with you? Like, hey,
Oh
let me
yes,
tell you what I
yes,
think happened.
yes. Have you considered this and this? Like I'm like whoa, who are you?
Oh, that's
Es-
great.
Cold AR.
especially when it happens around where I live. I'm like, do I go to church with you? Do I know you? How? What? And then you realize, no, I have no connection to this person whatsoever.
Oh, that's great.
Hey,
Thanks,
Mr.
Baron.
Coleman. Hey, Mr. Coleman, I have a question for you. We had a space earlier this morning or afternoon early where we were discussing the briefing that was submitted last night that you referenced, that you talked about in your show. We had a couple lawyers, or at least supposed lawyers, in the space who were commenting on it. They were making the case that that they were definitely making a lot of concessions. And I listened to your stream today. Thank you for that, where you were making the case that they were just inheriting the mental mindset of the state. And what I wanted to ask you was, one of the comments they made was the briefing from the defense read like an appellate briefing. One of the examples cited was a table of contents. Do you have any opinion on whether or not you would expect a table of contents or any of the other details in the formatting of that brief as a trial briefing or as an appellate briefing?
I don't know how they do it in Utah. So I didn't know whether that was unusual or not. I noticed it. Obviously, you could see the table of authorities and everything else they used, but um, I, I mean, I've never seen it in trial practice that way. I mean, it does look very much like an appellate brief, but it's also a death penalty case. I've never done a death penalty case. I don't know if that's standard in death penalty cases, but I noticed it. As far as the concessions, I just disagree. I don't think those were concessions. I think if they were making concessions, they wouldn't have said that they disagreed with every element of every charge, that the burden had been met. So I don't think they were making concessions. But I'm not gonna tell some other lawyer that she's reading it wrong just because we disagree.
Yeah, Muppet, of course. You got the floor, man. You don't even have to raise your hand.
I just being polite for once.
Hey,
um,
Muppet.
hello, how you doing? I just while Baron's in here, I just wanted to give Daisy a shout out. I got a mind crush on Daisy. She's fucking genius. And whatever you're paying her, I think you should double it.
That's a
Did
plug.
Daisy pay you to say that?
No, not at all.
What a
No,
plug.
Daisy's sharp. She's integral. She's worth her weight in gold.
Are there
And
more of her? Are there more daisies, Baron? Because
I tell you, there's a lot of sharp people out there. Her major qualification is she's very curious, and she does. If she gets something in her head, she just assumes there's an answer out there, and she can eventually find it, and it's remarkable. She finds tools that I didn't know existed. If she can't find one, she gets on Claude and builds one. She is digging through property records and FAA records that I've always been fascinated by tracking planes. I've been doing it for years. She's shown me things that you can do with these plane searches that I didn't even know existed. And she didn't either. She just was curious. She's like, well, there has to be a way to find the answer to this. This has to be a public record. It's got to be in a database somewhere. Let's just find it. And she does. And you know, there are very few people that are constructed that way. There are a lot of people that are curious, but there are very few people that match that curiosity with a dogged tenacity. And she has both, and she's special.
She puts my research skills to shame, mate. She's a genius. We need 10 more daisies.
Just hey, let Daisy know that me and Travis are trying to build a blackmail ring to help her get her Lexus that she was wanting.
I didn't quite hear that. What'd you say?
Me and Travis were building a blackmail ring to try to help her get her Lexus she wanted.
Oh, now let's keep everything legal, okay?
I
Well,
told her not to
it's
take
a
that.
legal blackmail ring.
I told her not to take that kind of negativity.
Yeah, let's keep everything legal and moral.
So
No, I
yeah,
meant of
speaking.
taking no as a negativity.
I mean,
Oh, you're saying I'm being negative.
No. I told her. She's like she was made that post about her husband. I said, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life.
Mr. Daisy's a good man.
Yeah, I bet.
yeah. So along those lines, kind of segue real quick. One thing that I've debated Andrew on, and these people in here know that I do not really I do not talk bad about him, but I will, like, I don't mind making fun of him, and he knows that. And one of the craziest thing is this whole Unfuck America, Act Blue, and since he's such a stickler for evidence, but this whole, I mean, have you looked into like his theory about the whole Act Blue thing? I mean, it's just kind of bizarre. It's one of the more bizarre things that he talks about, where there's just literally no evidence, and he points to this $20 million that Zico and Sanchez is his god, or like however he explains it, which by the way is like a drop in the bucket in my opinion, compared to like our greatest ally and the like their propaganda machine. um so yeah, I just didn't know if you had any thoughts on that whole
Well, Tom, real quick,
theory.
that's not a theory though. It's an accusation. He's literally claimed that these people are getting paid. Candace, did he mention that Baron was also one of them that's getting
He's
paid by
pretty
them?
careful about accusing Barron and Candace, but he's not careful about accusing Project Constitution.
On Joe Rogan,
work
he did though.
Working. No, no, he's saying he says they work hand in hand because you guys might, or people may, repost things or like things. Again, it's just bizarre to me. That's why it's even hard for me to even explain at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I've never spoken to Z Sanchez or anyone with Unfuck America that I'm aware of. If I've spoken to someone that's affiliated with it, I didn't know they were, but I don't believe I have. Obviously, never taken money from them. I can't speak for Candace, but I would be shocked, as successful as she is on her own, that she would, wade into that wasp nest over there. Project Constitution, I don't know. I mean, he sends me DMs every now and then of stories he's getting ready to post or has just posted. He's like, "Hey, I'm posting this. Just wanted you to see it." Okay, that's fine. I don't know if that's considered working hand in hand with somebody. I don't. I may or may not have retweeted something he's tweeted along the way, but if I did, it's because I thought it was good work, and if I didn't, that's not a knock on it. I'm not super active on X. Um, I don't know why they can't just debate the merits of the claims. Why do they have to go into the name calling and the accusations? Why can't they just say, here's where, I mean, if I was Candace, I would have said, keep your $300,000, but here's 30 questions that I want answered. I want you to go to TPUSA and get answers to these 30 questions. I want them written down, and I want them to sign their names to the bottom of it that these are accurate. And if any one of these turns out to be wrong, they owe me money. They owe me $300,000 for every wrong answer they get. So hold them to it. And if you get those answers, yeah, let's debate. Short of that, what do I have to do with you? I mean, you're nobody. You're
Yes, that's exactly how I feel
you
about
have.
it.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just say Andrew has no information that can assist in the investigation. None.
That's why
I
I'm.
think his concern.
That's why I called
I
Tom
was just gonna
out,
say. Go ahead.
because I'm so frustrated you helped him manifest this, and that's why I said he did not deserve this. It really should. This is all you. I'm telling you right now. I'm blaming you.
Well,
You helped
actually, no.
him.
I'm glad you bring this up because I was critical of you, Baron, that you didn't want to debate because I think that more awareness is better than less awareness. Regardless of
Yeah,
who
but
wins or loses. Hold on, Lene. Who wins or loses?
no.
I'm a big proponent of more awareness. And you don't like in that overlap of audience, right? There's going to be people that, and he's got a pretty big audience that don't know what's going on with the case. And you don't know, they could have had a Tesla in Arizona and they got cameras on their Tesla, or they could have been in Utah at the time, or they could have been in Santa Barbara, or they could have been in Tennessee where the plant blew up, and people may be moved to your side or Candace's side and want to give information, tips, clues, leads, evidence, and all that. So I am.
Yeah, but can
I
I say
just wanted
something?
Baron. No, you can't, because I wanted Baron to address this, because this is something. This is probably the only thing I've been critical of you on, Baron, and not wanting to air quotes debate, because it doesn't matter if it's a debate or a discussion. It doesn't matter win, loss. None of that matters. I think just getting on the airwaves with and creating awareness around the case is a net positive.
Well, one of the things is I don't make claims. Like I find a lot of interest in what Blake's talking about with the necklace. I think that's very interesting. I'm interested in what John Bray's talking about with the microphone. I'm interested in what with the electrification of the microphone, the handheld, the SM58 handheld mic. I'm interested in that what she said girl on X is talking about with a potential EMP type weapon. I was interested in what Chris Martin said with a maybe a lower caliber round from a different angle. Like I've expressed interest in a lot of things along the way, but I've never made a claim that this is how he died. I don't feel like that's my role. I think my role is just to draw attention and to, if I get, I don't know what my numbers are, but 600,000 to 900,000 across all platforms on an average show. If there's 600,000 or 900,000 people listening on Spotify and X and YouTube and Apple and all the different and Rumble, somebody out there may be an expert in handheld microphone electrification. Someone out there may be an expert in PETN explosives. Someone out there may be an expert in EMP type weapons. So if I can mention it, if I find enough merit in it that I mention it, that's not me making a claim. So there's nothing for me to defend on those claims. And so from that perspective, I have no interest in debating those things. I'm all for debating whether Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, but nobody wants to limit any debate or discussion to that. They want to go to Egyptian planes. They want to go to the French Foreign Legion. They want to go to the guys in maroon shirts. They want to go to the exploding microphone. They want to go to an exploding necklace. Like, everybody wants to go somewhere that I'm not willing to defend because I'm not making those claims. So I have no interest in defending those claims. And that's the reason I don't debate. If you want to talk about whether or not the evidence against Tyler Robinson is overwhelming, I'll have that conversation with anybody all day. If they just want to ask questions, like, tell me, why do you think the necklace is interesting? I'll be happy to explain why I think it's interesting. Um, but that doesn't mean I'm sitting here saying he was killed by a necklace or he was killed by an exploding microphone, or, I like Jordan Henshaw's thing with the air gun. I don't like his conclusion that it means he faked his death, but I think it's interesting because Jordan can make the shirt look a lot like Charlie's shirt, and not a lot of other people have been able to come up with anything close to that. And so it's interesting to me, but does that mean
Well, Baron,
I'm ready to
you
defend
just
it?
made his
Dear
ego go
God,
like 10
Baron, he's going to
times.
clip that
No,
and it's
keep it
going to
going,
live
Baron.
forever.
He didn't even get to talk about my
Oh
context that accompanies
my
fake
God.
death.
Baron just made
Baron,
his year.
full transparency. I keep kicking him out.
You
Yeah,
know
But
hey,
the I was wondering, I
Jordan,
was like, where'd he go?
we're gonna need Jordan to test the road mic theory out now. See if
Yeah,
that
but
works.
but what I'm saying is, like, so Tom, I understand why you want broader audiences to hear both sides. I get that, and I do too. I mean, I think it's great, but I don't think I'm the one to debate the claims about the exploding mic or the necklace or EMPs or anything else, because I just research them enough that I think, hey, this is interesting. Let's talk to the audience about it and see if somebody out there is an expert in this and can provide some additional information. As soon as I talked about the electrification, I started hearing from actual experts, like electrical engineer experts, neurosurgeons, people that said, hey, you're right. If they say his C cord was his C spine was transected, you're right. He would not have been able to hold onto that microphone. And I've heard from numerous doctors who have confirmed that to me, that he absolutely would have gone flaccid limp the second his spine was transected. So if he's still holding onto the mic after the injury, and the injury was supposed to have caused the C-spine transection, then something else must be going on. But I'm not ready to defend a claim of what that something else is.
Hey Baron,
Well, and Tom,
did you see Kelly's discovery of the screwdriver that she found in the cart at UVU?
I did, and I have about 11 of those at my house, and I didn't kill him either. So
Well, I don't know. I've got about 6 random ones, and I don't have any that match that. But I do think that it is an interesting random discovery, literally
sure.
at the computer science building.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. What's interesting to me is we've not gotten a picture of the screwdriver. So we don't know, is it a
Yep.
Phillips head? Is it a flathead? Is it a hex head? You know, what kind of screwdriver are we dealing with?
And then what would even be needed on the rifle?
Yeah.
So I asked Gary that tonight, and he did not really have an answer for it. He
well,
had
all
no
you had,
idea where
you
the
just had a.
stock was. Yeah,
I
no
was just
clue.
gonna say you just had a whole bunch of condescending voices laughing and talking over you the entire time, Blake.
It was tough.
Like
They were little. I like to call them
sarcastic
mini
and
schnauzers.
condescending.
Mini schnauzers.
No, they're chihuahuas.
Chihuahuas, excuse me. Yes, I need to get the correct breed. Chihuahuas in there. But it was interesting to hear Gary kind of stumble because he doesn't want to talk about the screwdriver.
I didn't catch that space. I was listening to Diligent Space for a little while, but I was, trying to get the family ready and couldn't chime in. I wanted to jump on a mic with him for a minute, but I wasn't able to.
So I have a favor to ask you, Baron. When you
He's
actually
down there,
get a
Paul.
little bit of time, do you mind jumping on spaces so we can have banter back and forth? Because I think it's important to be able to talk about things.
I don't mind. This Tom is running a really tight ship here tonight, and this is great because we're talking one at a time. I'm deaf. I don't know if you guys know that. I'm very hard of hearing. And when two people are talking, I get nothing. It's just garble. I have a hard enough time hearing what people are saying anyway. And so when spaces get crowded and people start talking over each other, I really just turn it off most of the time. And so I don't mind jumping on. My show schedule prevents it a lot. I did a little matinee show today, so I'm free this evening. Tuesdays and Fridays, I'm usually free in the evenings. I don't do anything on Saturday. I don't work on Saturday at all. It's not a Jewish thing. It's just I got to have a day to myself, right? I got to have a day to my family. I'm not joining Erica's cult. I just, it's just I got to have one day where I'm not working. And then Sunday, obviously, getting ready for the Sunday evening show. So, and then after I get off a show, if it's 10, 11 o'clock at night when I get done, I'm not jumping. I'll listen to a space. I listen to a lot as I'm going to bed, but I'm not jumping on one.
For sure. And if I have a space and you jump in, I promise to keep it like how it is right now. I yell at people a lot to do that. So
Could I say something real quick? I don't
Of
know.
course, go ahead.
Thank you. I don't know
No,
if
Black.
anyone.
I'm just kidding.
No. Okay, Lene. Thank you. Jack Posovic's X feed all day today, like 20 to 25 posts are all saying that nonsense, that reading through the new filing, Tyler Robinson's team, just making all sorts of ridiculous claims and accusations that his defense team believes that he was on the roof, that he's the one that took the shot. I just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah, Jack's. I think Jack's smart enough to know what he's doing. I don't think his strategy is from lack of intellect. I think it's strategic on purpose.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, I had a quick question. Baron, I know you have a legal hat, but if you could add to that a political hat, what do you think the fallout would be if Tyler Robinson is found innocent?
We don't find people innocent. We find them not guilty. It's a difference with a distinction. It's not
Well,
a. I'm
well,
not being
not
a
guilty.
stickler there. Yeah. I think it would be a lot like the Casey Anthony case where they would say, well, we know who did it, but she got off on a technicality. Casey Anthony actually lived very close to me, like a mile away for a long time. And every time she would go to the grocery store, it would make the local Facebook groups. Casey Anthony was at Publix. I'm like, guys, she needed
You live
milk,
in Florida?
No,
Oh, she lives in
she's in Middle
Florida.
Tennessee.
Oh, she moved
Uh,
to Tennessee?
She's been away. She was where I live now for several years, and I understand in the last year or so she's moved. So I don't know if she's back in Florida or if she moved somewhere else in Middle Tennessee. But she was here for a while.
Yeah, it's
So
one of the
you don't
more
think
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
so you're not really pontificating on what this does to like the Trump administration, or you know, the speculation has been that Israel could be behind it. So uh, I'm sort of speculating on the far-reaching effects of what that could mean. Considering that everybody is focused on this case.
Well, and there's a lot about the case we don't know. So we don't know what the trial would show that would lead a jury to conclude he's not guilty. So if it comes out that Tyler was never on campus and they have his location on the other side of town, and the gun turns out when the defense tested it was inoperable, or it couldn't have been fired, or I mean we don't know. um I'm just kind of speculating generally that I think they would probably try to chalk it up that he's the one who did it, and his motives were because of political reasons, and we had the right guy, and that way it just sort of closes it nice and neat for everybody.
Right. I'm not a lawyer, but I think it's just the law's pursuit to find out what didn't happen. I don't think they're really interested in finding out what did happen. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you're saying there, but
Like, I don't think they're trying to find out,
They're
investigate.
not they're not seeking the truth.
What's that?
They're not seeking the truth.
You,
I wouldn't say not seeing the truth. I just don't think they're interested in investigating. They're just interested in, determining that Tyler Robinson is not guilty. I guess as Barron would say, they're like, these facts don't add up. So, but they're not trying to dig through the facts to find out who did it.
I have a question for Baron. I haven't had a chance to ask yet. Is it okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, 100%. I do probably got to do some rotating because there's quite a few people want to
I'm gonna
talk.
hop off here. I just wanted to boost your space up. Good job, Tom. Baron, what did you think about the fact that I know that we can't conclude anything, but I just how how important do you think it is that there's a matching vehicle, apparently a matching vehicle to the one that we saw near the drop-off point for the rifle at Lance Twiggs' house? I haven't really talked to you since I put that out last night.
it's interesting. You're talking about the white Kia Soul.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's the problem is the aerial image we have of the white Kia Soul isn't close enough, I think, to be able to positively ID the precise car. But um, I if you theorize as I do that Lance Twiggs probably had more to do with this than Tyler Robinson did, it's certainly an interesting connection.
I mean the footage is clearer than the one of the guy we got on the roof.
I agree with that, but when you're talking about IDing a car, it's not the only white Kia Soul car sold. It's just like Tyler Robinson's car is not the only um, gray Dodge Challenger ever sold. So it's hard to definitively say yes for certain that is the same car.
So what would be visible though is if the footage, if they have downgraded all of the footage consistently that we saw, like let's say with the parking garage, if the exterior footage was also likewise downgraded in quality, then it's possible that they have the license plate or a better vantage of that car doing that turnaround right there, correct? Or at least passing, because I would imagine that it continued south on that road as it was, after it completed its turn or maneuver.
Yeah, and I don't know where their cameras are located. The one we saw off the computer science building, you could barely see the alleged Tyler as he was crossing the street there. So would you be able to make out a license plate or get a better view of the car? I don't know. Uh, if it drove by a closer camera, obviously you would have a better image. But I'm
There's two flock cameras down there. I wonder. I wonder if there's a way. That's something I'm going to look into. If we can. Do you know? Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you know what time that was, or about?
No, I think most of those were taken between like 9:30 and 11:30 that morning.
That's a pretty narrow window. That's narrow enough, I think. Thank you.
Hey, Baron, we had a question from the audience. Do you know how?
Yeah, Kelly,
Oh,
save that. Because I do want to address the
yep.
audience because there's a lot of requests and all that. I know, but um, it is what it is, guys. I'm just doing the best I can, and there's just a lot of people. So try to request. I'll bring you up, and we'll, depending on how much time Baron's got, we'll just go through it. But and so for you to know, Baron, yeah, I think you came into one of my spaces where it was uh it was Andrew's producer crashing out on Leslie. And I think that's what that wasn't the best one to come into. Um, I think Travis was in there prior to that. I think that it was okay prior to that. I think Ali Top Files was in there. So we were having a good discussion. And actually that space made it to Jimmy Dore today, I found out. So that was interesting because he was talking about that because that was when Travis was reading through the Charlie's messages and all that. But it was, I think you came in later when Mr. E came in, and I think he was drunk even. Um, but I try to just stay balanced, like not too strict and not too loose either. I don't even like doing hands. I think adults could just have casual convo. But obviously with you coming in, you're gonna get a lot of questions as well. So it won't really be that casual for you. But Kelly, go ahead.
Thank you so much. So the question, do you know how PBD will declare a winner of Friday's debate? Has that been stated to this point?
I hope he doesn't. I mean, that I don't know why Tom was just referencing people being adults. I don't know why an adult audience can't watch a debate between two smart adults and come to their own conclusion. Why do we have to let PBD tell us who won?
How are you
Is there money on the table though at the end of the day? Is there money on the
No,
table? No.
no.
oh,
No. Okay.
how are you supposed to though, Kelly? I mean, first of all, one of them's like both of them are pretty much theory and speculation. So how are you supposed to determine who won based off of their
Yeah,
questions and answers
sh- yeah, I don't know.
or
I just
argument?
knew that there was a lot of talk of money, and so I didn't know if that was, if there were any sort of terms at the end of the day. I'm just trying to help out some of the folks in the audience who can't get onto the mics.
So far, as far
Throw
what
me
I
a
will,
co-host, Tom.
I,
I'll
I've
help you
I've
out.
been sending out co-hosts to a lot of people.
Send it to me. I'll do it.
It's just
Well,
not
I'll
there.
take
work.
I
it.
mean, we're stacked. We're stacked right now. We've got
It's just not.
15
It's just
requests
not
to make.
working. But yeah, the way I see
Like
it
your
though.
co-host isn't working?
Yeah, yeah,
Like you're sending out? Okay.
yeah.
Hey, I'm working. I'm working. Come on
You're
now.
always
No,
working,
that's
Kelly. You're
not
the
what I
best
mean.
co-host
That's not what I mean.
hostess.
Okay, so the way I see it, when anybody's doing the debate, because I don't know if you know Baron, I've debated Andrew 3 or 4 times. Actually, probably more. Other people have. Muppets been in one of them, Leslie as well. Some folks in here. But the way I see it is that this is it's so rare. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. I know I'm not wrong, but it's pretty rare that there would be foreign involvement in like an unaliving of um unaliving of a political figure is pretty rare anyways in our country specifically. So I guess per capita it's not that rare, but like as far as the average citizen's concerned, they're not going to think there's foreign involvement. So you're always at a disadvantage trying to debate the something that's got a low probability. Same with like if you look at COVID, right? People thought they were on the right side of that, saying, "Oh, trust the science." But you know, a lot of us, especially in here, and I know for myself, obviously thought we were suspicious from the onset about the whole thing. And so I think with the debate, I think to win it, what you want to accomplish is planting that seed somebody, because it sooner or later at some point in your life that seed has to be planted that, hey, this maybe they're not telling the truth. And I think that's what, when I say awareness, that's what I mean. It's like plant seed to, yeah. go ahead. I saw you on mute, Baron. You know what I'm getting at.
I do. I would argue though that it's probably more rare that a political figure is taken out from a distance. I can only think of one other that I'm aware of.
Gotcha. So that's why
And so
the Fed
if
sloppers
you
are so confident, obviously. Like they're acting like, oh, we're just so smart, we figured it out. It's like, no, all you're doing is appealing to what usually happens, and usually there's not some kind of foreign influence or something like that. But in this case, obviously a lot of you investigators in here know, which Baron, I'm not. I had to clarify that many times. I'm just a concerned citizen. But a lot of the investigators here know they're like just it doesn't add up. Obviously, a lot of the different things don't add up. First and foremost, I would say the bullet wound or alleged bullet wound, right? There's like literally no examples anywhere of a 30-06 hitting someone in the neck and it not exiting. It just doesn't exist. People will point to some study, 2011, or these different military studies. Well, they're either laying prone or something. They're not being hit in the neck. They're maybe being hit in body armor of some kind. They don't have like a freedom T-shirt on. That's for sure. But I'll let you respond, and then other people can speak.
something rare outside of identity, I'd challenge anyone to identify another figure. It's just rare. It just doesn't happen. And asking us to buy something that is basically unprecedented and ignore things that happen, which is a foreign government that has assassinated so many people that there's an entire Wikipedia page dedicated to it with chapters broken down by decade. And each decade has dozens or hundreds of entries. So I don't, which is more rare? Which is more rare?
I do think I
Fair.
say this a lot. I think that this Charlie thing has opened up a lot of people's eyes to the fact that, maybe we should dig in more and that maybe everything that our government's told us is not true. And I think that it is definitely awakened something in people that they didn't expect for it to. And it's kind of like, the wake up call for a lot of people.
Hey, Baron, have you looked into Shinzo Abe at all? Japanese Prime Minister,
I have. I saw.
2022.
I saw a video you posted where it looks like the gunshot doesn't add up. Doesn't look like, it looks like the timing is wrong.
You got a ton of feedback, Blake, so I had to mute you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just curious if you had seen what I'd posted before on Shinzu.
I
He
did,
said
yeah.
he did.
Penny, for your thoughts. It sure is. It's sure similar. Sure shares some similar characteristics.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I don't know what to make of it. I've not looked into it much, but I did see what you posted and did a little looking after I saw what you wrote, and I saw what you posted, and it's weird. And there's no doubt it's weird.
Hey,
All right.
Daisy, do you want a mic?
Oh, she would request if she wanted one. B, go ahead.
Hey, thanks, Uncle Tom. Thanks, Kelly. This questions to Diligent and Baron or whoever else, but mostly those two. So you guys on your show has been talking about um, the construction site with the SUV, or not the SUV, the construction site with like the kind of looks like the SWAT vehicle and stuff like that, possibly. Um, and then I watched Sam Parker talk about that CNN reporter interviewed that kid, that Dylan Hope, with the long greasy hair. He talked about the suspects supposedly. Just wondering if you ever looked into Dylan Hope and all that tied in with that. See if he is actually a construction worker or is he actually possibly a Fed?
I've not looked into Dylan Hope, if that's what you're asking. No.
I have not either, and I try not to until like I've reached a certain point. Try not to blast witnesses online until like if they're ready to come forward, or if it's a matter of like public interest and we need to disclose it or something. Um, Especially if we haven't gotten our own independent statements from them, just because what will happen is a bunch of people will call the company, or they'll call the person, or their families or whatever, and it'll scare them into not talking and not being open with us. So yeah, I wish that CNN wouldn't have done that to him, but they did. So yeah, but I haven't looked into him at all, outside of just the general interview that we all saw.
Yeah, I appreciate. I just noticed that you guys were both talking about the same stuff, so I wasn't too sure. But
Well,
Baron, but this is for just Baron. You can talk after Diligent. But Lynn's Mac just says she talked. She listened to your show on Montgomery in Alabama when you're on the TV show or podcast or whatever back in the day.
Who said that?
Lynn's Mac.
Okay.
So just a
Yeah.
heads up.
So
Oh,
she.
she's been asking for a mic. I can bring her up. This
She can take
Vente.
my mic. I'm just dropping. I just want to ask that question. That's all.
Okay,
I,
okay, cool,
I just
bro.
want to add, if I
Appreciate
could
it.
just add something to your first question real quick. Baron, he showed me the picture of the construction site. I don't even think, were you already looking at like that truck configuration at that time, or was?
No, no.
Yeah, he showed me that picture of the construction site, and we weren't even looking at like for that reason. I noticed that truck was like parked funny, and I was like, man, this is strange. I don't know definitively that is like an operation center. I just think it checks off. If we're looking at a state level operation, if this is a multi agency cover up, and I do think that I will assert, that we're looking at a multi agency cover up. I don't know how he was killed. I'm with Baron on that. I don't have any theories as to how he was killed. I think that there's a lot of plausible explanations out there, but that place definitely, and it's in the center of everything. It's across the street from, I mean, literally, that is where the gray Challenger parked in front of Miss Noble's house that night. I don't know if you realize that too, Baron, but that's that residence. That's exactly where he parked. Was right in front of that place, where that delivery truck was. So it's right in the middle of everything. It has a perfect vantage point. You can see. I did a Google Earth on it. You can see all of the roofs of UVU, all of them, all of them.
It's also where Gary posted up to fly his drone.
Is
He
it
was right up
really?
there. Yeah, he was able to get that vantage point. Go back and watch his drone video.
Is it that specific property?
Pretty sure it's got the best vantage point. It's up there on top of the hill, looking over the campus. That's right where he went.
Interesting. I'll
Aw,
have to go back and check that out.
aw, Diligent, you sound so sweet without your bullhorn mic.
I don't know about all
Lynn's
that.
Lynn's your name was mentioned. Can you unmute or
She's got fangirl, like she's
Lynn's
awestruck
Can't
right
even
Mac.
now.
talk.
Lynn's Mac.
Well,
She's
while she's getting
just
her
totally
mic,
frozen.
okay, while she's getting her mic situated, Blake, you were just referencing the that's like the multi-level dark brick property that's just across the street. Is that the one where you were just speaking of?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So y'all know that that is UVU property, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, it's called it's H26. If you search H26 in UVU, that's the project
Is it the
that
MASH
they
building? Or not the MASH
no,
building,
no,
the
it's not.
it's
No, it's not the Mash building. No, but I mean,
No.
I
it's
spent. Go ahead.
it's
No, I was
it's
gonna
like
say
the
it's got the
Constitution
garage.
Center.
It's got the yeah, it's got the
It
garage
used
It
on the
looks
front.
it yeah, it looks almost like an apartment building, something like that. It's not, but I mean, I do believe that it's active enough that they have trash cans outside. They've built the stairs, they poured those concrete stairs sometime after September 10th.
But yeah, it does have a very good vantage point over to the Losi Center from that area.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, what happened, Lens? Oh
She's
no.
starstruck.
There you
It's called
go.
being
Unmuted
starstruck.
me.
Diligent and Barren in the same space.
There
It
you
will
go, Lens.
freeze.
No,
It'll
it's
freeze
working.
Okay,
anybody.
anyways, can you guys
It's
hear me?
working.
Okay, I was just gonna tell Baron that I remember watching him back in the day when he was on the Montgomery, Alabama radio. So I'm like one of your fellow Alabamians over here.
That's really nice to make that connection. That's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, glad to
that's
have you.
crazy.
That's all you have, Lens? Like, you've got him right here. Like, what was your favorite moment you listened to him back on the radio? Like, what's the one moment that stuck out that you'll never forget that you heard from Barron back on the radio?
I'll send you $20 not to
Sorry.
answer that.
Okay, I'll look it up.
I was about to say it's gonna be something weird. It's barren. It's got to be something crazy.
I'll send you $30 if you do answer it.
We're in a bidding war.
Just the
Baron's low key
humor.
funny for sure.
He still has the same humor as he did before. So I just want to let y'all know he's still the same Baron.
Just wiser.
That made me feel really good, Lindsay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we're
Diligent,
glad
could
Absolutely.
to
you
have
make it?
you.
Diligent, could you make it $33?
Bro.
That,
$33.
that way it could be the same amount of dollars that Baron has follows. I don't know if you guys saw that. A little weird. A little weird.
Yeah, Blake's like that too, but Blake's follower, he only follows his ops. It's so strange.
Oh
I
Whatever.
my
like to
gosh,
prefer
you
to
guys
them
are
as
both
my
following
handlers.
33.
My handlers, please. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a couple resident attorneys in here too once in a while, but for some reason I don't know, I don't know if they're busy or they're not able to come up, but this authentic, go ahead.
Sorry, guys. I'm just like sneaking out of my little girl's room and
Oh,
putting her to bed.
Baron, he might have had to go or something.
Oh no, no. Okay, hopefully Barrett. Well,
You
okay.
waited
If
you
I saw him,
waited
just
10 months
I
and there
waited
it
too long.
goes.
I was. Oh
I
my
was
gosh,
trying my
that's
best to get you in.
He'll probably come
dude.
back. It was probably a connection
He's
issue.
here.
Oh,
He's
it
down
was.
in the listener.
Is
Yeah,
he
I think he
down,
was rubber
listener?
banding a little bit,
He's
right?
he's he's on the
Okay,
road. He
he's
wouldn't
back.
just
He's
Okay,
back.
yeah, he wouldn't just
he's
take the call.
back. Okay, so Baron, I happened to be on like a 6-hour road trip when Julian Dory first podcast with Joseph Scott Morgan came out. And I don't think I've ever yelled at a podcast so much in my life. But I just wanted to give you flowers where flowers are due because your approach in that podcast was brilliant. And I'm curious on like if like your biggest takeaways from sitting down and having a conversation with him and what you feel like maybe his biggest takeaways were from having a conversation with you. And I apologize about my voice. I'm getting over a cold.
I'm not going to speak for him. I don't know what his biggest takeaway was, but for me, I think it showed that people who approach the case fundamentally differently, from different angles, from different experiences, from different backgrounds, can um, can come together and have a decent, educated conversation. I don't know that he walked away from that convinced that Charlie Kirk did not die from a 30-06, and I certainly didn't come away from that convinced he did. That wasn't my goal going in. I didn't intend to try to change his mind. My goal was to use his expertise to my advantage to the extent I could. So I anticipate as we get closer to trial and during the trial, we will get more information about how the investigation unfolded from the beginning. Well, I'm sitting in a room with an expert who's been doing this for decades. So, what should have happened at the scene from the moment it happened? What's the standard from an investigation standpoint? Let's establish that. What's the minimum standard? And we don't know what they did, but what kinds of things would have fallen below the standard? And if I can get enough of those on the record, I think that podcast becomes more valuable as the trial unfolds. And so to me, it was a little bit like going into a deposition with an expert witness. But the difference is I don't know what the facts are at that point. So I just can ask the questions. If they did this, would it have been below the standard? If they did this, if they didn't do this, would it have been below the standard? But I thought he was fascinating. I too listened to that first podcast and was a little dismayed at how confident he was that it was a 30-06. But after talking to him, I realized he's in the same position a lot of people are in, that the only thing they're hearing is the mainstream narrative. They're not hearing any competing theories. They're hearing that Candace Owens is you know crazy or evil or diabolical, and so they dismiss anything that challenges it, and they dig in a little bit. But I thought we had a pretty good conversation, and I think that that podcast will have more value if this thing goes to trial.
I think it was an amazing conversation, and I'm glad that like part of me has been really irritated with the fact that Julian hasn't gotten more into this, considering how into like Epstein he was and everything. But I think it actually has played like beneficial because like it's very like people aren't going to have an opinion about where Julian stands on this. So like I just kudos to you. It was like both of the podcasts were brilliant, but there was definitely some moments as like from an audience perspective that I was like, oh, you can tell he was taken back, especially with like evidence that he would deem evidence that was not considered evidence in this case. Like the shirt. Where's the shirt?
The shirt, the necklace, the road mic, all the rest of his clothes, the tent, the table, the chair,
The fact that the crime scene was paved over.
The hats.
the hats, everything. I mean, all of it should have been kept as evidence. And if they did a good job, we'll learn at trial that they did keep it all as evidence, and it's all been tested, and it's all been able to be recreated. But we'll find out. We'll find out.
Thanks. I appreciate you answering that.
So, Grenda, what were you saying? I know. There's people
What was I
before
saying?
you.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was just saying. Well, my question for Baron is, so everybody has these different theories, right? Like,
Well, first of all,
there's
who are you?
who am I? I'm Grendel. I'm Scott Williams.
Grenda's been around for a long time, and he does have a connection to Tyler via extended sort of family situation. Yeah.
I happen to work with a cousin of Matt Robinson's. So,
Okay, go
but
ahead.
but yeah. So yeah. My question is like, there's all of these different theories out there and stuff, and you know, being privileged as I am, working with a family member, he says that uh, Tyler's saying he didn't do it, but knows who did. Right? Who on your theory would be who did? Like, like there's obviously a deeper state operation. Like, who do you think, when it all comes together, who do you think's responsible for it?
Bro, they're attorneys. Or Barron is an attorney. He's never going to answer that question.
I'll answer it if you want.
I'll answer.
Sure.
I ain't got a license to lose.
Well, y'all let
Lance
Barron
Twig.
say if he doesn't want to answer it or not.
For real, he's a grown ass man.
I honestly, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I mean, I've had 6 or 8 people or entities or organizations in my head over the course of this, and I don't think it's helpful to speculate with a total lack of evidence. But I know people do, and I'm not shaming them for doing it, but I'm not sure the value in it.
Who do you think it is,
But that
Grindal?
that's what we're all doing, right? Is we're all speculating on different theories anyway. So I mean,
Who do you think it is, Grindal? Who's the guy who did
I
it?
don't really know. I don't know. I think Tyler got involved when he went to USU with some shit, is what I think happened. And I do know that like the cousin Pete, he's they think that they're gonna kill him. I know that. So
Can Pete come on a space sometime? I'd love that.
I doubt it. They don't want to talk to nobody. It's such a shit show out here with different theories. Like they think he was shot with a 5.728. I've pretty much shown that he can be shot with a 17 HMR. Like, I don't think they're interested. Like, I think if we all collaborated and got on the same page of a theory and started pointing to the right who, I think they probably would. But like, I don't think they would.
They need to look at the necklace, my friend. Tell them to look at the necklace.
Like, why would they think it's a 5728 if it's a necklace? I just don't, dude. It wasn't a microphone.
Okay.
So that's not
So
speculating. That's making statements.
I want to segue to some because this is something I've been interested in, and Diligent was talking about being careful about saying certain things about certain people. And if I'm changing the subject too much, that you guys can let me know. But I'm really, since doxing has been a big subject this week, Baron, I kind of wanted your opinion on, like, Fed sloppers saying, "Oh, you're doing it," and um we're saying they're doing it, and like, what's, there's the terms of service, then you have the moral side of the argument, and so there's just a lot there. And obviously you're getting pushback, I think, for allowing certain things. Candace, obviously, she lets out certain things about certain people. I heard today somebody talking about her violating HIPAA. Um, of course, they spell HIPAA HIPPA for some but anyways, yeah,
HIIPA.
yeah, I know, but that's just these people. Anyways, yeah. So, wondering what your thought about that was, limitations or.
Well, as for HIPAA, Candace is not a covered entity, so HIPAA does not apply. It only applies to covered entities. I was a HIPAA lawyer for 5 years. That's what I did before I came to full time broadcasting here recently. So HIPAA is a nonsensical argument. The doxing issues is a fun one to me. I really like it because I am on the air with my name. I'm on social media with my name. Um, if I criticize someone, I do it with my chest out, my head high, and I don't hide. And I think people who do it anonymously, social media or broadcasting or whatever, they need to do it with caution, meaning they shouldn't be out there attacking people anonymously. I don't. I think that's. I'll drive. Um, they shouldn't do it anonymously. They should they should put their name on it. If you're going to attack somebody, yeah. Can you imagine if the things Gary said he did anonymously? I mean, that would be absolutely ludicrous. It would fly in the face of every journalistic standard that we have. If you're going to call someone a name, you got to do it with your face. You got to do it with your name. You got to do it with your identity. And I don't know how this works. And I don't have qualms with people who attack people. If they have something that can be attacked and they're doing it anonymously, that's fine. That's where I fall on the issue. I don't. I understand you have to operate within the terms of service. That you can't. Um, you can't put somebody's user handle and their name and address in a post. I think that would be inappropriate. I don't think anybody's address should be on the internet. I don't think anybody should be
I
contacted at home.
I think it's any information, public information like Instagram, whatever, that they do not authorize. The question is, like, I think the moral question comes into play with the public records of arrest records, stuff like that. Which I think I know your answer. Like, you might say that's fair game, but some people feel different if it's a public figure versus not a public figure. So
Well, but you make yourself a public. So there's public figure, there's general purpose public figure, and limited purpose public figure. And you are a limited purpose public figure within your area of contribution. So if you want to be on X out there lobbing bombs and criticizing people and harassing people, and then somebody wants to say, oh well, I'm going to operate in this limited purpose space that you occupy, and I'm going to tell people who the hell you really are because I'm able to figure it out, then I think that's fair game. Now if somebody's just minding their own business and doing a little research and helping people out and you go out them because you don't like their position, I think that's pretty lousy, you know. But to me the line is at attack. If you're attacking somebody, that person should be able to should be able to let people know who you really are. Um, you know,
And
if
by attack, you mean like harass
yes,
or yeah.
yes, I absolutely mean harass, and that's what these people are doing. It's a constant, continual harassment. You know, if you're tweeting my name over and over and over, and every time I post something, you're in comments and you're just saying, god awful things. Well, one day I may tell you who you are. You know, if out there, I think that would be pretty unbecoming of me to out who you are. If you truly just want to be anonymous. But I draw that distinction. Once you become a nuisance, the person has the ability, in my opinion, to smack back.
What do you
Yeah, I
think
mean, I
about
guess
somebody
on
crossing
X
platforms? Like,
it would just
so
be violation of terms of service in that case,
But you
regardless on X
The
specifically.
terms
But
of service on X are if you first off, you cannot dox anonymous accounts without their permission if they have not disclosed their identity anywhere else, right?
well
So
then,
if I went to Instagram or Facebook and I said my name is John Smith, I'm diligent denizen, right? Then I am no longer anonymous. If I have never disclosed my name publicly and people are trying to dox me with the intent to harass, and this is the deciding factor, not only with X but also with law enforcement. If you are disclosing people's personal information with the intent to harass or stalk, then it crosses the line into breaking the terms of service as well as the law in most states and federally. Right, what we were talking about when it occurred with Candace Owens, for example, this
hold
is
on.
this is technically against the law.
So Sean Campbell went on and found me. He went cross platforms to Facebook, LinkedIn, IG, and then went. I don't have my last name posted on here, obviously, because I'm a single mom and I don't want people knowing the city that I live in. He cross platforms, went, posted my last name, posted where my kids went to school, and continues to harass me on X and all these other platforms, messages me on IG with threats. So I don't like, it's becoming a problem for me. Like, obviously, I'm going to not shut up because that's just who I am. You're not going to scare me into making me quiet. But it does draw a line to the point where it does scare people. And like this guy is not getting shut down.
I
And
would
I even
document
had,
it
Yeah.
all. X isn't enforcing. I would document it all. I would find out where he lives, and I would call his local law enforcement, the state police, report that he is cyber stalking you if that's what he's doing, and then if you need to escalate it from there. You can tell your law enforcement, tell his certain law enforcement. Well, like Texas, for example, they will travel the country to go
he's in
extradite people
Arizona.
from other states. So, yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I would. It's worth a shot, but you definitely get it on the record. At the very least, you can make a report, even if they don't do anything with it. You can build a case over time at the very least. So, if it's getting to the point where he's harassing you on other platforms, that's literally stalking you. I would definitely consider reporting it.
And I want to clarify, I that's not what I'm talking about. That's not at all what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about like what happened to Britta last week.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
I get
hey,
that.
Britta is a nuisance. If somebody goes on X and says, I don't know who this person is, but here's a news article about this person and just posts it and doesn't link it to their name at all, there's no violation of the terms of service. And because she's a nuisance, I don't find a moral issue with it. You know, if she's going to act that way, if she's going to be a problem and she's going to be obsessive, tweeting about Candace 4 or 5,000 times in the course of a year, I don't have an issue with people knowing she was ugly crying in her
Yeah, she's
mugshot. That's her
that's a
problem, not
mental
mine.
illness right there. Like seriously.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty crazy that Sean guy. Same thing happened to me. Not that I'm actually really trying to hide my identity or anything. So I honestly thought it was kind of funny, but it was he tried to quote unquote dox me because I had a conversation with Gary in his space where I was asking him if he really believes that the 30-06 didn't go through Charlie Kirk's neck. And then I called him out a handful of times when he kept accusing Candace of stating that Erica Kirk killed her husband and that she was a part of trafficking. All I did was just say, no, she actually never came out and made those claims. She's never stated that. And but either way, it was a respectful back and forth. And all of a sudden, I see all of my stuff posted. Well, sorry, he attempted to dox me basically. And I was just like, what is this? Like this person, I have no idea who he is. And I noticed he's been doing that to a handful of women, by the way, not men.
That's the whole
And
guy's
that was
identity.
Yeah, and that was the thing that I guess because I was having conversations with Shady, and he was doing the same thing to her,
Yep.
and she's
Same.
on his side.
So that
It's
was
crazy that this is
after.
their defense.
I'm guessing this was after she left the group. Then he wanted to dox her, I guess, because she turned against them.
No, no, nope, nope. He was doxing her. He tried with me, and then he started doxing her because she disagreed with some Lisa girl or something like that. I don't know,
Oh,
but it
okay.
had nothing to do with her revealing the group chat. She did
Oh,
that after
okay.
the fact.
If there's a
Um,
credible event of doxing occurring on the platform, again, even in non-accounts, if it's a credible, like if it's harassment, again, intent, the system, there's an automated system. It doesn't always enforce it, but if enough people report a doxing post, it will be enforced. So the only way that you can get X to enforce it is by collectively, and I'm not saying target anyone, don't organize, right? That's not what I'm saying. In general, if you see people behaving in that kind of or acting out in that kind of behavior, make sure that you report it, because the only way that it's going to stop is if these individuals who are harassing people, stalking them, etc., that they're going to stop is if the rules are enforced. It is against XTOS, and until those rules are enforced, they'll start to ban their IPs, even if they try to make new accounts. Right? They'll have to go through more and more stringent exercises to be able to continue on, and eventually, they run out of steam. So
Well, I
I
And
would
mean,
he
just
has a
say
strategy.
he's got like a fake account right now
I,
that he's like
I'm
obsessively
done. I'm
reposting.
done with the trauma dumping of the Sean Campbell because Quint had her hand up a long time. Quint, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Hey,
I was just gonna say real
Baron.
quick that he has a strategy. He will post stuff, then delete it, and then block you. He'll post it for like a small short period of time, then delete it, and then block you. So that I'm assuming it's
that's
harder for you to
insane.
report. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not sure. Oh, Octavia, so glad you came back. I hope you grab a mic.
Sorry,
That's
Quinn, I
one of
love
the
you.
attorneys, Baron, that I said I think she didn't see eye to eye with your assessment. If you can get her up here, I would love to hear those two talk.
Oh, I didn't know she didn't agree. I'm sure they'll
I
find
think
some
I think
common
it was on
ground.
the defense's quality of presentation in the brief, and I was trying to bait him into my space. I'm like, bro, there's an attorney up here who disagrees with your assessments.
Yeah.
uh, you
Baron,
gotta.
thanks for
Sometimes you gotta bait, man. It works. But yeah, I think he's headed home, so he'll probably open his mic whenever he feels like it. But I don't know if the people who have their hands up or it's all questions for Baron or not. But I don't know if there's other stuff people want to
can
talk
you
about.
hear me?
I can hear
Um,
you.
cool. Can I
Yeah, you can try. He might be. he was driving. So
I'm here. I'm just listening.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Baron, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Also, love to hear that you've been listening to us for a while, so that's exciting. Also, then I feel like I probably owe you an apology for talking over people. I am getting better. Um,
They all do. You all owe me an apology for that.
yeah,
well,
really,
it's
our
an
humble
accountability. She's
hosts.
taking accountability. That's why I have these accountability spaces.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. No, so Baron, I appreciate really appreciate you being here. And I went on this Stephen Lancaster show called Fax Me, like way before I had a profile picture on here, and he was like, "No one will debate about Candace Owens' claims in blah 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 words." And so like I went on his podcast and he was like, "It's gonna be nice, everything's gonna be fine." And then afterwards he did a retrospective on it. And he literally said, when he was getting shit from all of his followers who hated him for letting me talk, they he said that it was by design that he let me talk, but because they're trying to build a case against you and Candace Owens, that they've created people who have these crazy ideas and that we're mindlessly following. And now Paramount Tactical's newest favorite slogan, which Uncle Tom's been doing great calling him out on, saying that she's being terroristic. Anyways, we're at this point now where our First Amendment rights really are at, I'm the essential contrarian, because we need to be able to constructively have a difference of opinion, have these conversations that matter, and have civil discourse. And now we're at a point where people are literally building cases inside of spaces. I've heard they're even calling the FBI for you, Baron, because you're helping with this terroristic movement. It's all just a bunch of baloney, in my opinion. But we are, anyways, I wanted to, one, you do know that this is some credible threats, right? I'm sure Diligence heard it too. Not threats, but they're working towards some form of bullshit, right? And then two, like our First Amendment's at stake here. So
Well, I don't even know who that is, so I don't put a lot of credibility into what he's claiming is happening behind the scenes. Um, if that's the direction the world is going, that investigating on a true crime genre over the course of a year or so on a highly contentious political assassination is somehow illegal, then I guess we'll have to see how that goes, because I think it's fairly unprecedented in the United States. I would be surprised if that would carry the day in any court.
Can I
Oh,
ask my
United
question?
States of North Korea. Yes, honest, go.
Baron, I don't know if you remember this or even Diligent. Yeah, he's still in here. Do y'all remember early on where it was like some type of security guard or something claimed that everything, they were like, what happened or whatever? And he's like, don't believe it because it's all AI. Do y'all remember that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're speaking of.
What'd they look like, Ash?
God, I can't find anybody that remembers this. It was like so early on, but and I thought for some reason that that was on Baron's
It's
show,
your. I
but
think it's your description that I'm struggling with.
no, there was
I'm not.
somebody who was recorded saying that everything was AI, like everything we were watching, all of the footage was AI edited or something. And now that everything is coming out where there's all of these different things that are looking like they've been AI edited, like that has to do with the drones and the Hades plane and all of these things that are coming out now. It just made me remember that. And just been trying to research and find it. And I'm failing. So
Are
Hey
you saying
Ash,
before
hey
Charlie
Ash, hang
Kirk?
on, Lune, hang on. Hey Ash, if I was Brian Harpole, I'd be saying the same fucking thing. It was all AI, y'all. All AI, not
it just
me.
came out so
All
early though.
AI.
Like I hear what you're saying, but I remember it and it came out so early and it's just something I want to go back and research, but I can't find it. So that's if not,
Are you
then we
talking
can
about
move on.
before Charlie's assassination?
It was like very early on when everything happened. There was this recording that was going around and I could have swore it was like
A- Ash,
somebody's security there.
if you prompt Grok and you say, do a semantic search and then put it in quotes what you want it to look for,
Hmm.
and then give it the context of the first week or two of Charlie Kirk's assassination, there was a video clip or an
Hmm.
audio clip of an individual saying this Grok, look for it, and then
Hmm.
it will search it out. But tell it to do a semantic search,
Semantic.
and
Okay.
then give it the rest of
Bro,
that
you're the
context.
one that has the golden grok, not us. We're just peasants.
Anybody can Grok. You can use any Grok. Any
Hey, I
Grok
paid
has
Oh, we don't have
attention
to
to what
API
you
have.
said. It better
access.
work for me as much as it works for Diligent. All right.
Get
So
us
we
one of those
got
He's
goddamn
some.
got
Grok
some.
things.
We got a couple operatives in here. Operative number. I think I saw operative number 26, and we got Britta. How many posts about Baron this today? Maybe
Is she in here?
couple hundred times. Yeah, of course she's in here.
She's operative number 4.
Oh.
When she's not drinking, she's in here.
Bro.
uh,
I'd honestly give Britta a break if
Just
she would
say,
just
yeah.
say, "Yeah, I'm making $13 a post." You know, I'm sorry guys, this is how I feed my family or my cats.
For
100%.
sure. At
That's
least be
all we
honest.
ask.
Or my
That's
cats.
Cats.
Actually, Tom, I think that's what you said to her the last time
Tom
she
made
was in the space with us.
157.
I think you
we
said
did.
that to her, Tom.
I
Hey,
probably did. It sounds
Nah, he
like
already
it.
gave it
Sounds like
away. He
something
gave it
I'd
away to
say.
somebody today.
can I pose a question for
No,
Baron, Uncle
I
Tom?
said Brandy Zabrowski is the final boss of the cat lady. That's what maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Can y'all hear me?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Um, I had a question for Baron. I really appreciate you coming on here. But I didn't want to steer the topic too much. But with your background and your legal expertise, and I know you have to be kind of cautious making claims, but would you be willing to share any information, if you have any, in regard to the location of Charlie's body? Or
I don't know. I don't know. I would love to know where it
and
is.
do you mind if I follow up? Do you think that black Mercedes van past the breezeway? Do you think that was just an AV equipment van, or do you have any thoughts in regard to that?
I'm talking about the big Sprinter van that was parked third from the
Yes,
tent
sir.
on the left. I don't know what that van was.
Are you still um, at all interested in the antenna grid on UVU? Because I know you posted about that.
Do you remember what I
You
posted?
posted one of the antennas on the Losi Center.
Yep.
I guess it's where
It was
Tyler.
I
Oh
remember
no,
that.
that wasn't on
no,
the
it's
Losi
not.
Center. That was on a that was a house. That was a house near the campus, and I was intrigued by who lived in that house, and then I saw that antenna, and I was just curious what kind of antenna it
That's
You
was.
so
said it was like
strange
a
because
1980s one or something.
that photo you posted looks exactly like there is an antenna on the Losi Center that is a Yagi antenna and a UHF antenna, but then there's six more around campus. But without getting technical, I was just curious if you had looked into that at all.
Yeah, the one I posted was off
Okay,
campus, but it was on a house near
I got
campus.
you.
I have a question for you, Baron.
Um,
What do you think
go ahead,
about
Leslie.
like Don Jr. and those guys showing up? Like obviously it's like a form of intimidation, but like what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, so when you say form of intimidation, I don't want to ascribe motive to them that they were
No, no, no.
intending to be
I will
intimidating.
say it.
It is intimidating. Yeah, I mean, no, it is intimidating when the president of the United States' namesake, oldest son, is in the courtroom. Um, I think Erica was allotted, I think, what 12 or 15 tickets to get in. It's interesting to me that she brings in influencers and powerful people, and not cousins and uncles and aunts and stepbrothers and sisters. You know what I mean? It's just it's I think it is. I don't want to ascribe motive to her, but it sends a signal to me about what's important to her and what they were trying to get out of that last day of that hearing. Or I guess Don was there the first or second day, but it just, what are you trying to get out of the hearing? Are you trying to learn information about who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why, and whether or not that was Tyler Robinson with a 30-06 from the Losi Center over political disagreement? Or are you trying to have people who have large platforms be able to walk out of the courtroom and send a message? You know, again, I do not like to ascribe motives to people, but I can certainly ascribe what message it sends to me.
Hey,
For sure.
Baron.
That's something that's like
Oh,
bothered me too. And the other thing I wanted to ask is I think it's like pretty telling about, Charlie's parents' body language. Do you think that we'll hear from them at any point in time?
I do not.
hey, Baron. I'm gonna say a name, and I'd like for you to tell me the first word that comes to mind when I say this name. Just one word to describe him. Hunter Kozak.
Disturbed.
I can. Yep, I agree.
Hey, Tom.
Yo,
Octavia said she feels like she was summoned to the principal's office when she heard Barron and Diligent.
yeah.
Who's the
So
principal and who's the vice
Octavia,
principal?
Octavia, have you spoken to Baron?
No.
Do you
She's scared.
Well, here's the thing, because a lot of people probably have a lot to say. Because some of the things I wanted to say are coming back to me now, and so Baron, what I'll tell you, and it sounds like you're eating, so I'm glad you're sitting down for this. But
No, I'm
oh, you're
driving to my daughter's
oh, you're still
place.
on the road. Okay.
That was Blake eating.
Oh, is it
Yes, that's
Blake?
me. I'm eating a
Okay.
burrito.
So I made it clear to everybody in
They're
here
cheating.
that I actually don't come on X to friends. I come for the truth. I like making friends, and I have made some. Um, and so that does go for you, Baron. But I do have a lot of respect. But in the same regard as Andrew, I there's things I don't agree with, so I'm going to call him out for that. And I'm known for being confrontational. It's just how I am. It's a gift and a curse, and I don't know what else to say about it. But can you, before anything comes out, or maybe a lot has come out already? Can you give us all the bad stuff? Because it's the other side accuses us of being an echo chamber, and I know we're not, but in the spirit of that, what's all the bad stuff? Like, okay, this guy Ali Alexander, what, like, I didn't know that he had this checkered past allegedly. And obviously anybody that I talk to in spaces, they never have to answer anything I say. So you could just decline, of course, and we can move on. But people are critical of that relationship there. And then they say that you've had some cases in the past, which I'm sure it's a nothing burger. All attorneys have cases they regret taking or didn't work out how they wanted to, or maybe didn't know the past of the person, but there's some other cases that I guess didn't go your way. So can you give us like the bad people say about your regret?
Yeah, I'm in a stairwell, so it's going to echo. Hang on
No, it
just.
sounds good. It's not
Sounds
So
bad.
great. Sounds great.
okay, good. So Ollie Alexander, I've known him since 2008 or nine. I'm not sure when I met him actually. It's been a long, long, long time. Um, he was Ali Akbar when I met him. He was on a political campaign in the town where I was living at the time, and he was a friend of a friend, and we met. He seemed like a decent guy. Um, I still talk to him occasionally, not often. Every few months we'll reconnect on something. He's been a political figure for a very long time. He was not a national political figure when I met him. I've represented him on smaller items, like he would call from time to time and say, "Hey, I need an LLC opened for a fundraising company I'm doing." I remember opening one of those for him along the way. I probably opened 4 or 5 LLCs for him. Um, he called me in, I guess, November. I hadn't talked to him in a long time. He called me in November after the election and asked me if I would open an LLC for him. I was like, sure, because that's something I'd done before. It's very normal. And he said it's going to be called Stop the Steal, and I was like, all right, fine. So I opened it up. Didn't think a thing about it. A couple weeks later, obviously, Stop the Steal, the name is everywhere, and it's become a whole political movement at that point. And he was sort of one of the leaders of that. He and I don't even know who all it was. Brandon Straka was in that group. Scott Pressler, whatever his name is. Um, there were a bunch of them that were in that. And afterwards there was all that political fallout after January 6th, and so he was called by law enforcement. I'm getting into the realm of, I don't know what I can say from attorney-client privilege. Not that there was anything weird or wrong or anything, but I did arrange communications for him for a couple of entities that were trying to reach out to him, and that's pretty much the extent of our relationship. We've, that's the connection. It's on paper. I don't know about everything he's ever been involved with. I've never lived anywhere near where he's lived. I don't think I've ever lived in the same state where he's lived. There have been years where I didn't talk to him for 3, 4, 5 years, and there have been years where we talked regularly because I'm helping him, open a company, or I'm helping him do something. But I think probably 2020-ish was the last time, the end of 2020, right around Stop the Steal, was the last time we had any kind of real business relationship. But I've represented a lot of people, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in my life. Maybe more than that, I'm not sure. But I don't know everything all of them do. I don't know everything they all get into. I don't represent them on every issue they're facing. I If someone calls and asks me to open an LLC, or asks me to arrange communication with some entity that's trying to get in touch with them, that doesn't mean that I vouch for every political position he's ever held, or I don't vouch for every statement he's ever made, or every person he's ever talked to. So that's pretty standard. I've represented people who've been accused of assaulting hundreds of people, have been accused of some of the worst crimes you can imagine. But I might have been involved in one small aspect of the case for a particular reason. I'm trying some constitutional issue, or I'm trying some medical issue at trial. That doesn't mean that I vouch for everything that person did. That doesn't mean I'm saying anybody that I've ever represented did anything wrong or did everything right. I don't know is the reality. That's the nature of a lawyer. I remember when Fred Thompson ran for Senate in Tennessee when I was in high school. One of the knocks against him, he was a famous actor for those that are too young to remember, but one of the knocks against him was that he was a lawyer when he was coming up, and that he had represented a guy who'd been accused of raping a woman. Obviously horrific, but Fred Thompson was a fairly decent senator. He was a famous actor. He had a great name in the Nashville community. He was well respected around town, despite the fact that he had represented somebody who had been accused of doing something pretty awful at one point. And that's because Fred Thompson was brought in to try a particular aspect of a criminal case. He was not brought in to vouch for the character of every single person that he's ever known. And that's not to say that the person he was representing had bad character. That's just to say the nature of a lawyer is we are merchants of misery. People hire lawyers when they have a problem. Nobody hires a lawyer because everything's going great. you know, um,
100%. Yeah.
you wanting to start a business or something, you're planning for the end, or you wouldn't hire a lawyer. So even in something as bright and rosy as, hey, let's get this business going, you're still a merchant of misery. You're still planning for the inevitable failure of that business and trying to protect your client if something goes wrong. Criminal cases, obviously, Tyler Robinson's lawyers are not vouching for Tyler Robinson's character or any activity he's ever done or anything he's ever done in the history of his life. They just represent him on this issue, and he may not have even done it. So we can't draw anything based
Did
on
you
that
ever
that
get?
connection. So that's Ali.
Bear,
Other people did you ask about other people I've represented, or
Oh
just
I was
no,
Ali?
I
I was
just asked
wondering.
about him, and then I've
Am I still
yeah. No,
talking?
can you hear
Yeah,
me or
you're good,
not? I
Baron.
can hear you.
Oh no, did I get cut
No, I
off?
can
Baron,
hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. So Baron,
I can't tell if I'm still on.
yeah. So
Baron,
you're
drop,
I hope I didn't
drop
get
it,
cut
drop
off.
it,
We
and
can
bring
hear
him
you,
back up,
Baron.
Uncle
You're
Tom.
there.
I don't have my headphones.
I'm
We
gonna
hear
mute.
you.
I'm gonna mute him for now because he's got a hot mic.
I don't think it. Hold on.
uh, yeah. So
Drop
Baron,
them back up.
I might have to drop you if and
Am I
We
connected to
hear
something? I
you.
can't be connected. I don't know
We
if you can hear
definitely
me
I
or
just
not.
can.
texted him and
Volleyball
told him to
services.
drop and request again, Tom. Just request,
There we
drop
go.
him
There we
down.
go. There we go. I'll drop him down.
We're bringing you back up, bud.
Octavia, do you feel like you're in
What
trouble
about
and you're
Junior
just
down
waiting
there?
in the hall?
Pretty
Chels,
much.
oh, sorry, Octavia. Chels, what kind of nonsense you bringing today, Chels?
Hey, I think he's
Hey,
back.
I
I
just
am
have
back. I don't know where you lost me.
No,
I
we
gave like a
heard
10 minute
No,
we
we
literally
heard
monologue.
we
heard
heard it.
We heard it
We
all.
heard you the whole time.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you, so I was like, oh my gosh, did I lose him?
eventually I had
Anyway,
to mute you because you're on a hot mic, and I was like, I don't
You
know
probably went into
what.
Wi-Fi or something.
it's exactly what I did. I walked into my daughter's house, and I connected to her Wi-Fi. So I turned the Wi-Fi off, and you guys came
Oh,
back.
how's the
There you
baby?
go.
We
So I
feel
don't know.
like
Was there a
family.
follow
We
up?
feel
So
like
Was there a
well,
family.
there.
follow up?
yeah.
I get, and I know a lot. I'm asking this because there's going to be people in the audience that want to hear this of Fed sloppers, and none of it you have to answer. But I get replies, or I see replies about some case with. Honestly, you really just answered it. I'm not even gonna bring. I'll bring it up, but you already answered it. But some case about HIV, some guy having HIV or something.
I represented dozens of people that had HIV. That's essentially all I did for about a 4 or 5 year period of my career. So if there's a particular case, I'll be happy to talk about it to the extent I can. But I've been very
Oh
open
no.
about the fact that that was a big part of my career for a very long time.
Are people
I think
serious?
I mean I think some folks have heard Baron talk about the HIV sort of connection, the legal connection previously, but I too get questions from time to time about not only the um, Stop the Steal, but also then the Gavin McInnes Proud Boys connection, and then um, the QAnon connection to Thomas Schoenberger. And so then that raises questions for some folks. Can you
Yeah.
address it?
So this is fun. This is fun. I haven't talked about this area of my life in a long time. So Gavin McInnes, I was licensed in Alabama. Gavin McInnes wanted to sue the SPLC. His lawyer was a guy named Ron Coleman. He's kind of a well-known First Amendment lawyer and a little bit of a social media personality himself. Um, he needed somebody in Alabama with an Alabama license, and we ran in the same conservative political circles. So he and his team reached out to see if I would be their ProHawk sponsor, and that case is actually still going on. I think it's what is it, 7, 8 years into that case, and it's still going on. In the meantime, the SPLC is completely melted down. They're now having people arrested. Their founder's been thrown out because it was determined he was a racist. I mean, the SPLC is a wreck. We didn't have anything to do with any of that, but um, I think it reveals we were on the right to be suing them. I've got no issue at all with that.
Yeah.
And then
Were you
the
ever
Q
subpoenaed by
guy,
the
the
J6 committee?
Tom. Oh,
I just while we have a chance, I get hit with these a lot, Baron. I just don't know what to say.
Oh, I don't mind talking about it. I'm
Were
not. I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide.
Hey, Baron.
were you ever subpoenaed by the J6 committee?
No.
and
Baron, how's the
and then
baby?
when hold on,
Do you hear her?
wait a
She's
minute.
perfect.
Yeah, again. I just have to ask because
Oh.
the other.
And then when it comes to the QAnon insider guy, Thomas Schoenberger, I think is maybe how you say the name.
Yeah. So how did I meet? I don't even remember how I met Schoenberger. I had a mutual acquaintance who asked me, actually I was in Utah, who asked me to fly to Utah to meet, I don't think it was a friend of theirs, someone they knew who was looking to file a lawsuit against somebody. And I honestly, to this day, cannot remember who he was looking to file a lawsuit against. I met him at a diner in Ogden, Utah. He was a fascinating individual. I think we probably sat there for 3 or 4 hours and talked. He told wild stories. And, he's one of those people. You ever seen the movie Big Fish, where you keep hearing the
Love that
stories
movie.
and you think there's no way all this is true. So I don't know, I'm not calling him a liar, but he told some wild stories. I mean, just wild stories. Ultimately, we decided not to work together. I didn't have the time with what I was doing, and what he wanted to get into sounded pretty complex. And then he called me, I don't know, maybe 6 months or a year later, and said that some news organization was running a hit piece on him, it was HBO maybe or somebody, accusing him of being Q. And I was like, why would they accuse you of being Q? You know, are you? And I, don't want to divulge everything he said, but in short, no, he was not. Um, and so he said, well, you just reach out to them and like send them a cease and desist or something. And I was like, yeah, I'll talk to him. So I reached out to him for them on that. And then he got a defamation claim filed against him in Florida. And I don't even know if I entered an appearance on his behalf or not. I think he just copied all my work from a defamation suit I had I was moving to dismiss a defamation claim for lack of personal jurisdiction. I think he copied all the work I did. I don't remember if I represented him specifically or not, or if he just copied my work. But um, fascinating guy. I've not talked to him in years, maybe 5, 6 years. I don't remember when all that took place. Several years ago. I would talk to him tomorrow, though. He seemed great. I mean, he seemed like a decent guy. I just don't have any reason to talk to him.
So I guess for the people who wonder, like, how does Baron Coleman, one attorney, come across and in some form or fashion represent all of these like far right people, or however they want to characterize it? Like, what would be your response?
I don't know Thomas Schoenberger's politics. I don't know if he's far right or not. But the answer is you tend to represent people who are connected to people you know. I mean, that's just the life of a lawyer who's out on his own. You know, it's word of mouth. I never advertised. I never sought clients. People would come to me and say, "Hey, so and so referred me," or I would get a call from a client who would say, "Hey, here I got a friend who's going through some stuff. Can you reach out to them?" And so I ended up representing a lot of people in political circles. You guys have named two or three of a lot of people. And frankly, not the names I thought you would have asked, but um, but yeah,
Who,
no,
who are the names you thought we would have asked
no,
about?
I'm not going there. You guys have to do your research.
Oh
You
man.
know, the first time that Barron told me that he was involved with the Stop the Steal project, I was just about to have him help me navigate away from Penguich, and I was worried about the feds and cops maybe trying to chase me down. And then he's like, "Oh, I was involved with Stop the Steal." And I'm like, "Bro, why didn't you tell me you were a Fed?" I'm just kidding.
Not a Fed.
Yeah, well, I guess that buries the whole "we're all communists" idea
No,
theory.
I've always been on the fringe populist right. And if Ben Shapiro and all these people are now using horseshoe, that's their new token word. If that's to be believed, then I'm migrating over to the middle or the left or wherever it is on the horseshoe I'm supposed to be. But I've never been a mainstream middle of the road uniparty Republican. That's never been my brand of politics. I've never associated with those people. I've never represented those people. I've always been on the populist wing, which is why you'll see a lot of the names that were affiliated with Trump and early MAGA populism among the people
It
that
got
I've interacted with.
hijacked, Barron. That's why everybody thinks they're Feds, is because that movement got hijacked, I think. Right? I think that they saw that populist movement emerging, and they infiltrated it. And